Okay, let's go. Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm gonna do a little thing where I read from my library. I've not been here in so long, so those of you who have followed my Instagram will know I've been around Central and South America for quite a bit of time. And now I'm in my house again, and this is one of my favourite places. It's my library in the Landing. So I am going to start reading from here again. I did read from here in lockdown. I did lives from here, which I might do again. Let me know what you think. Whether you'd be up for that. Well, I'm going to do it anyway, to be fair, because it's just a really lovely place to read. A lovely place to read. So I'm going to start from reading my own poems, and then I've got two poems. Well, I've got two books, and I'm just going to open the page and see what happens for at the end. And yeah, I hope you like it. So the first poem I'm going to read, I wrote yesterday and today. So it's still fresh, might change, but this is what it is as it stands. It's called Suspected Neurodivergent. A few years ago in counselling, the counsellor said she thinks I'm neurodivergent. She told me I have qualities of a person with mild Asperger's, except you're not really allowed to say Asperger's anymore. It's high-functioning autism now. But I didn't feel like that was the answer that explained why I didn't fit in all my life. It provided no relief at all. Only more confusion, because apparently people who stand up for themselves during situations of abuse have slight Asperger's. I don't really know anything about that. Can I just be me in a situation of abuse, please? Can you listen without analysing? Why, if you don't fit the mould, do you get put in a box called neurodivergent? I don't identify with that. But I don't identify as neurotypical either. So what the fuck am I? Feel like I've been dragged into an identity crisis. And I'm not being either of those to help you to understand what I was sharing with you. Because it's not being me. And it's not really for me to understand what boxes other people put me in for the sake of ease. I went to counselling to not be judged, but it turns out even people who are paid not to judge cannot help it. So that one is Suspected Neurodivergent, and it was written today and yesterday. So I've been back in the country for 2 weeks now, and I've not done one clothing wash in 2 weeks, but I'm due to do one. But I wrote this poem called Hand Washing My Clothes towards the end of my trip, because I did hand wash my clothes every day while I was away, and it was the only constant. So I wrote about that. And so it's interesting how now I have a washing machine handy again. I've gone back to my old ways. But anyway, this is hand washing my clothes. It turns out that hand washing my clothes in all these weeks away from home has been what's kept my soul untethered. My arms toned, kneading the fabric, slathering the soap with each stroke. Building the strength to be the boy I need to carry me as I roam. There wasn't a food I could eat, a person I could greet as constant, as familiar as having a shower each day. Hand washing my clothes kept the demons at bay. Cleanse me of all the ills of the day, not even the sunrise and sunset. Watching the birds or gazing up at the moon, the stars and the planets in the night sky grounded me so much as hand washing my clothes. The best way I could care for myself so delicately, so tenderly, when all I had was myself. Smallest step so unassuming and deeply nourishing, so important to reflect upon the best way to never stray too far away from what keeps me whole. Hand washing my clothes was the thing that held me together when all else was unknown. So I wrote that on Isla Mujeres in Mexico in the middle of April. And it was sparked by a conversation with my best friend. I'm going to read one more of mine, which still to this day exists as 2 poems. So I'm going to read one of the options. I wrote a poem that in the end I decided had 2 endings. So I'm going to read version 2 of a poem called Defective. Oh no, that's not that one. Oh no, I'll read Defective and then I'll read the other one because I'm on it, so there must be a reason for that. This poem is about traveling in Central and South America. So in America Latina, if you're a woman traveling alone, then you're either a prostitute or you're either a thief or you're either a woman who needs a man. So you get treated a bit differently, like in restaurants or bars if you go alone. And something that happened quite routinely was men would just think that I was automatically available for them to be my boyfriend. So this is about that and a few other things, but that's how this poem came to being. It's called Defective. Are you drunk? He asks, like that's license for him to come closer and to get into my pants. I'm tired of those ones who think because I choose to go to a restaurant alone that I'm easy to pick up or that I'm looking for a pickup at all. Have you stopped to think about how I might need to eat and drink each day just like you do? And in safety too. And if you end up in a situation where you're talking with me, you should count yourself lucky, but never like that. You obnoxious rat. What would give you the impression you could just have me like that? I don't even know what your favourite food is, or if you have any cats. How could you miss my disinterest? Trying to keep my distance, you are not in the room, and rejecting you doesn't make me defective, or lesbian, or whatever you want to tell yourself to nurse your bruising. I have no other way to explain to you that you're just not my person. You're just not my person. You're just not my person. Nor do I have to. I'd like to keep hope that friendship with men isn't a dead entity, or good God, even women these days. Despite having to contend with grown people, broken, trying to cope with their sorrows by getting into my pants, on the daily. Let your desires be as they may, lust does not govern me. And when I choose lust, I like to feel it all. So for future reference, there is no way in hell that I've been praying for, that what I've been praying for every day would be showing up this way. I need a much bigger build-up than that. So that is Defective, and I wrote it when I came home because maybe I had to be out of it to write it. And this is not, I'm not saying I've not had experiences akin to this outside of America Latina, but it was pretty regular in America Latina, I'm not going to lie, folks. Sorry, guys. So, In Your Mastery is the poem that there's 2 versions of because it transpired that the lines couldn't bridge and it was 2 different endings. So I'm going to read version 2. I know the undying romantic in you, the playful child, pure gold, unafraid to say what's on your heart. Flowing freely, and I like how you're unearthing him again, reclaiming all that is out of alignment, back to basics breathing. And I like how you're feeling again. It's good to have you back breathing. I hope you stay roaming in this space where I recognise you and can enjoy you in your mastery forever. My mind keeps trying to get the best of me, then I remember. Dreams are reality. All that you are, near or far, is a prompt for a deeper look into how to grow into a better me. I love that poem. It came so fast, and it confused me a little bit because I couldn't finish it. And I don't know. I like version 2 better than version 1, so that's why I read that one. If you want to read both versions, you can go to my Instagram page and find it there. I also wrote this on my return. So what's left to do is read 2 poems that are not mine. I have 2 books. A Bird Is Not a Stone, and this is an anthology of Palestinian poetry. I am Palestinian, hallelujah, aren't we great? And then I have the Penguin Book of Spiritual Verse, which is another anthology of poets on the divine. So I like anthologies like this because a lot of my poems have a spiritual foundation. So I feel like I have peers. Quite a lot of them are dead. If you read these books, these people are not alive anymore, but it makes me feel like I have peers. So there we go. Okay. Ooh. So this book I've opened where the bookmark was, so kind of cheating, but hey ho. This is a poem called Body Remember, and it's by Constantine Cavafy, who lived between 1863 and 1933. And this poem was written in Egypt or Greece and has been translated by Edmund Keeley and Philip Sherrod. And some of the narrative around the poem is: the body can be its own divine, so can memory. In this poem by the Greek titan Constantine Cavafy, we see the body and memory each trying to reconcile the other's divinity. Okay, so this is Body Remember. Body, remember not only how much you were loved, not only the beds you lay on, but also those desires that glowed openly in eyes that looked at you, trembled for you in the voices. Only some chance obstacle frustrated them. Now that it's all finally in the past, it seems almost as if you gave yourself to those desires too. How they glowed. Remember in the eyes that looked at you. Remember, body, how they trembled for you in those voices. I love that. I don't remember reading that poem before, but I love it. And also, today I got back on my bike for like the first time since, well, before I went away. And I was like, please remember how to ride. And I always remember how to ride. Anyway, it's funny that it was on that. And this poem, oh yeah, it's only 1 page. This is a poem from A Bird Is Not a Stone, called Creation, which also has a spiritual foundation. At the edge of the river, east of Eden, he paused on his way where God had made paradise beside the river Gihon. As he bent down to gulp at the water, he saw his shadow. Nakedness was like thirst, and inspected himself. Who lies among wild grasses? Who bends over rippling water? He burned with amazement and said, I see in myself what is not there. At the edge of the river he stood naked. As she bent down to gulp at the water, she saw her shadow. She inspected her shadow and herself and said, I see in me what is not there. At the edge of the river, despite drinking the water, they sleep on their separate shadows, which cling identical to their two bodies. Thus were we created. That's by Henry King. And I discovered this book on the tour with the Amos Trust. It was in a house very local to me, and so I borrowed it and then bought my own, and I'm still yet to give the one I borrowed back. Terrible. Those who like books know. If you know, you know. I'm sorry, Stephen. So, anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to read. If you like any of my poems, then let me know if you want me to read them out loud. And yeah, it's good to be reading from this space. I love it so much. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time very soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.